welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to share with you some honest reviews of a few products I received from a company called Arrtx. I've never actually seen these products sold in any stationery or art supply stores in Toronto. So I don't actually believe you can test these out from a physical store because I think they only have online presence or shopping channel through online portals such as Amazon and whatnot. I did receive these for free to review, and I have seen other artists on the YouTube artist community review them. And generally speaking, I think all the things I've heard so far are positive. So I'm really curious to see how I like these products. So these are just sketching pencils, and they range from 4H to 8B. I have tried so many different kinds of sketching pencils in the past. I would be surprised to see like whether these are superior or not. Like I wouldn't keep my hopes up because I've never came across any sketching pencils that are just far better, including the what is it called? The Black Wing, is that what it's called? Those got so much good reviews online, but when I tried them, I just felt they're graphite pencils. I didn't really feel they are, far superior than anything that I've used before. So I'll see how I like those. But the thing that I'm really excited to try out, definitely are not those sketching pencils, but they're these acrylic markers. What is really special about these acrylic markers is that they are brush pen tip, and I love using brush pens. I've been drawing using brush pens for a very long time. I have a lot of different kinds of brush pen. Generally speaking, I just really enjoy the drawing with these. I love the brush pen style, and I love the flexibility that it brings when I'm drawing. A lot of times what I really hate is switching tools, right? But a brush pen, you can do really thin lines, and you can like tilt the pen a little bit and do swatch, like a giant broad stroke, which is a wash of color. And that's a drawing style that I really prefer. I prefer not to get out of the zone. When I'm in the zone drawing something and just looking at something, or something's in my head and try to like put it down, I really don't want to break that flow and then having to change into like a different brush or a different medium, a different tool, because to me that's kind of like disrupting my flow. And I have a train of thought that I really want to complete and get down on paper or canvas, and all of a sudden I need to switch to a different one, right? So that's something that I don't like to do. Now, and also in the acrylic marker tool set, the closest thing I have would be these Posca markers. I do have multiple sets of the Posca markers. There are a lot of people who love using these, but mainly I would say for illustration type, the Posca markers are really vibrant and the colors really pop, right? So a lot of times if you're doing illustration and you add a pop of color here and there, it really makes your drawing stand out. So that's one of the things that I really like, and I do enjoy using them a lot. But they're not, I would say, at all similar to how I would use brush pen set. And these set kind of is like an in-between between both of these two worlds. So I'm really curious to see how I like them, because in my head, the way that I use brush pen a lot of times is I do want the colors to mix a little bit, to create a kind of like a gradient effect. But I very rarely use that with my Posca markers because they are acrylic based. And we all know that for acrylic, the consistency is very different to water-based pigment, right? It's not that they don't mix. I do a lot of acrylic painting, and you certainly can't mix them. But when it comes to markers, they don't mix quite as well, right? It's not like alcohol markers or these kind of These are the Faber-Castell Artist Pen Brush. That's a mouthful. But these are more, I would say, mixable. These are made with India ink, right? So ink pigment-based markers. These definitely mix a lot better, right? Same with these Tongbo water-based brush pen markers. These mix really, really well. And any two colors, you can mix them together and create a new gradient effect or a new color altogether. But acrylic markers, I mean, my Posca markers don't really mix that well. They just look streaky, and it's not at all what you would expect. So let's see how these held up and what kind of drawing I can create with these. Ooh, they're pretty. Although, you know, the colors are pretty, but they don't really mean anything. But the thicker the lead, the softer the lead, the bigger the lead, as you can see. That's a nice detail. However, you can probably tell from looking at this view, the lead is not in the center for a lot of these, which is not great, because then when you are sharpening it, you don't have a dead center sharpen for the lead. Having said that, most of the pencils that we have in North America don't really have a dead center. For example, this one that I've used for a very long time does not have a dead center lead. There's another set underneath. Okay, so I finally sharpened all of them, and as I predicted, a lot of them are not in the dead center. For example, this one is pretty good, but this one's not too bad either, but this one's not very good. See, on one side you have a little bit of lead, and on the other side you have a lot. That means the lead is not centered in the pencil. But I mean, it's not a big deal. Most of these pencil sets are not. In fact, very rarely do I come across pencil sets or sketching pencil sets where everything is in the dead center. The most expensive pencil that I ever bought is the Blackwing pencil. And even this one, I mean, it's not in the dead center, as you can see. So yeah, it is, I would say, a defect, but what can you do? Most pencils are not built with precision, which is why we use mechanical pencil. We don't use these type of wooden pencils. You know, when I was little and I was learning how to sketch, my art teacher actually told me that if you want to be a sketching artist, you have to learn to sharpen your own pencils and not use a pencil sharpener at all. And I remember when I was a little kid, I had these, like, it's not even the cutters that you can buy nowadays. It's, if I can find a photo, I'll link it somewhere here. But it's like this long little narrow knife, and you had to like sharpen it like that. And you make the lead really, really long, and you can basically sculpture it to however you like it to be. And I guess that's the only way I know how when I was a little girl. Because my understanding is, to be a sketching artist, that's what you have to do. That's how you to be professional. When we're sketching, I find that it's really easy to make assumptions, because if you don't keep on going back to the reference photo, you'll make assumptions about what you think you saw, because our brain and our eyes are really good at tricking us. And we're also lazy. We're too lazy to look at exactly what we want to draw. We just make assumptions. Oh, that is what she looks like. But sometimes, most of the time, we're wrong. But maybe sometimes you want to be wrong. Maybe sometimes it's like a mistake that you want to make. Finally remembered that I don't have just one pencil, but I have, what, 12, 14? I always forget how many tools I have when I'm in the flow. I just end up using one thing throughout. I mean, technically you don't need a whole lot. You really don't. You can draw beautiful things with the most basic tools. Growing up, I was living with my grandparents, and they're retired veterans. They're extremely frugal. I just don't think my happiness is brought by money. Money buys autonomy, freedom, so to speak, and gives me the safety net that if something goes wrong, I have the money to support myself. But it doesn't bring me happiness. And then when I was working for, larger companies, whenever I get a raise or a promotion or anything, it was never how much money they gave me that brings me joy. It's always, oh, my team likes me, or I did something, I built something cool, I solved a problem for someone. Those are the things that bring me joy. I'm not saying that, like, getting a promotion doesn't make me happy. It does. But it's because I got recognized, not because of the money. Okay, I really want to get to trying out the acrylic markers. I don't know why I'm just now drawing with pencil now. I haven't drawn a graphite pencil sketch for a very long time. Okay, I do enjoy the various softness that the pencils allows me to do. It's a lot easier to achieve these different shadings with the set. But I just know this is gonna smudge. which is why I don't really like using graphite to begin with. Don't like using graphite in my sketchbook. But if you like drawing with graphite, then you don't need me to tell you. Okay, I'm kind of overwhelmed by how many different colors there are. I don't even know which one I should start with. Oh my god. These are really cool. Okay, I'm surprised by the consistency. Okay, but as I predicted, they don't really mix. Because acrylic dries really quickly. I mean, you can sort of mix it. A little bit. Oh, these two actually kind of mix. I guess they offset it by providing you with a lot of different kinds of colors. Okay, so these are... Let me see if these have numbers on them. They do not. These do have numbers on them. So you can, based on the numbers, know how close they are with one another. Are my Tombow. You can see because they're like water based, the more you apply, the more they mix. This is the one that's a little bit further apart, and this is kind of drying, so. But again, because it's because it's water-based, it mixed really, really well. Anyway, I just wanted to show you a comparison. However, these acrylic-based also do kind of mix to a certain extent, and no transfer, not yet at least. Ooh, it's really cool. That's more vibrant. Okay, this is a great portrait color. Looks just like a skin tone. It's more like a sand So I do wonder how long they last, like how long the pigment lasts. But I gotta say, so far I really like them. Picks a few other colors that I really like, just to show you what they look like. So one of the properties of acrylic is that when you first put it on paper or canvas to later on, the color do change. Not as dramatic as gouache, but it's not it's not gonna stay the same. So it's a good idea to, as you can also see, it layers quite well. Just like Posca markers. Just like Posca markers, they layer. But also because they layer, I don't think you can get a stained glass effect like the water-based. You see how you basically just override whatever you had put in before. Almost like reassigning a variable in programming. Ooh, this is a gold color. That is pretty neat. Did not expect that. So I guess these are all metallic. Yeah, this is silver. Oh, we're back to matte colors. I wonder what's the difference between this one and this one. They're both black. Do they not have anything to indicate what color they are other than the visual indicator? Okay, I'm really surprised that they don't have that. Okay. They do not. This is a true black. Okay. I guess they're just true black from different sets. It's the same color. But even the others, I don't see any indication of what kind of color they are. Besides, yeah, like that is gonna be pretty hard to remember. Like, I'm already confused where I got these from. So the challenge with drawing with, well, not really a challenge, just every time you're drawing with pen or more permanent type of material, you have to be a little bit more observant. But that's not to say you shouldn't be confident with your strokes. You absolutely still should, but I do take a little bit longer when I'm putting down my lines. And sometimes if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. It's not a big deal. Just draw another one. It's so incredibly normal to make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, how do you learn? I think in modern days, we are so focused on the outcome that we lose sight that it's really the process that's fulfilling. Okay, I'm really loving these markers. Oh, they're so cool. So my only worry would be how long they last, because acrylic dries out really easily. How long do you think these will last? Let's grab a lighter shade. Okay, as you can see, they don't really mix. They will kind of just, I mean, I guess you could do back and forth, but they don't really mix like how you would draw with paint, I guess. The good thing is you can go back in and fix your mistakes. I'd say overall, it's really cool. Definitely enjoy using these. Ooh, I like this color. Okay. This is really cool. Okay, I really like the fact that I can make these lines with this marker. So it doesn't mix, but you can go back and do things like this to add a little bit of a reflection and soften some of the shadows a little bit. Oh, actually it did kind of mix over here, which is pretty cool. Got some mixing going on. But it's kind of hard to control this kind of mixing. I don't know what's causing it, but some of the markers are not as opaque. I think it is incredibly fun to not use everything within the same family. For example, I think it would be really cool if right now I add a little bit of pink, a pop of pink. Okay, this pink is a lot darker than I thought. Maybe I can add it here. Okay, that's definitely lighter. Each set has a white, just to test if it's the same. I'm not too impressed by this white. Meh. The white isn't that bright, but I'm sure you can layer it. Yeah, it's layerable. To really test out these markers, I made some portrait drawings both in my thicker Ohuhu sketchbook as well as my art creation, Talens Art Creation sketchbook. These paper are much thinner, and historically I've tried Posca markers in these sketchbooks and they don't hold up as well. So I wanted to see how these markers test out. And as you can see, I have layered multiple onto this page. Her face is probably made up of at least 2 to 3 layers of paint. I've also applied a wash of blue as the background. So there's definitely quite a bit of pigment and paint on this page. However, I've noticed that it's held up quite well. Notice there's no warping, and the other page looks fine. No bleed through. So I'm quite impressed with how even a non-mixed media, or rather thin type of paper, can grab onto the paint, and the paint is not ruining the paper at all. And in these thicker paper sketchbooks that, you know, historically my Posca markers have held up quite well.
In comparison to the Posca markers, I would say the benefit of using this marker set is that there are a lot more colors to choose from. My Posca markers come in a limited set of colors. But the thing is, these Arrtx markers, they're really thick, so it's really hard to control the markers to give a much thinner line. Whereas the Posca markers, because they come with different precision sets, so there are really thin liners that you can purchase from the Posca marker set, and the colors are identical, so you can really mix and match and create beautiful drawings that way. These Arrtx markers, they are brush pen based, so if you're used to that drawing with brush pen, you can use them with flexibility. But for beginner drawers, I would say it is a little bit more difficult to control. Overall, I did really enjoy using these markers, and I will be going back to them and make more portrait drawings in my sketchbook using them. Let me know in comments below whether you've tried them before and how you like them. Thank you for watching.